Hey, happy Thursday. And it's day 36, believe it or not, of online learning for us. It's Miss Fioli again. We are going to do another lesson today in creating an argument. Lesson 1, part 2, reading a document and choosing relevant information for my argument. So today we're going to be practicing finding information to prove an argument again. We have a new article. And I've told you in the past to write about something we need to become experts. So we're going to begin reading again about bilingualism. This time we'll read about the amazing rise in bilingualism in the United States in a psychologytoday.com article. It passed the CRAP test, even though it's a blog, because the author's a doctor who studies bilingualism. And here's our goal. We're going to find evidence in this article that bilingualism in the United States has increased significantly in the past 40 years. And so when we're done, we're going to read it together. When you're done, you guys this time, instead of me and you, are going to copy 3 pieces of evidence into this chart. You're going to do your attribution according to, your quotation, and then you're going to do how it helps you prove your point. And finally, you're going to go down here and you are going to write the paragraph. Now, today's assignment will be counted as double, because it is a double LA, which means it's worth more. Because yesterday was your first try, Tuesday was your first try. Today will count as double. The next thing we will do will be cumulative. It'll be a CA. So make sure that you're doing these lessons and getting these in, especially this one. It's going to count as more than the one on Tuesday. But if you didn't do Tuesdays, it's going to be a heck of a lot harder to do today's, because you're not going to know how to do it very well. All these lessons build on each other. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to read this article. And here it is. I have it right here, Psychology Today. And we are going to read this really quick piece. And notice it was updated on April 2nd, 2020. So that's good, with new data. So it is, in here you'll see that they talk about the past 38 years, but it's actually the past 40 years, because it has been updated. So this is the author. Sorry, let me go up and show you. Francois Grosjean, I think that he's pronounced. He's a PhD. He is studying bilingualism, and he says the proportion of bilinguals in the U.S. has practically doubled since 1980. As you can see, this was printed 2 years ago, but we know now it was just updated. So it is a valid source because of this and because of this. Okay, so let's get started. In an earlier post, that's what he says, I described the state of bilingualism in the United States, and we could look here to see it, but we're not. It's going to show us the U.S. Census. The U.S. Census Bureau does not keep track of those who use 2 or more languages in their everyday lives. But since 1980, it does ask 3 language questions. Does this person speak a language other than English at home? What is this language? How well does this person speak English? Very well, not at all. These questions are first asked in the census every 10 years, but now are part of the annual American Community Survey, the ACS. The data that we now have cover 1980, 90, and every year since 2000 until 2018. Even though children under age 5 were left out, as were people who use a second or third language in their everyday lives but only English at home, they give us an idea of the number of bilinguals in the U.S. and how the numbers have evolved since 1980. Researchers Jeff Blom at the University of Minnesota helped me extract the appropriate numbers from the IPUMS database, which contains the census and ACF data. For each year, we tabulated those who spoke a language other than English as well as English to varying degrees. We removed those who did not know English at all, as they were not bilingual. And we worked out a percentage based on the total population. I then plotted the results obtained. As can be seen in the graph on the left, this one, blue function, there is a steady increase of the percentage of bilinguals between 1980 and 2018. Back in 1980, the percentage of bilinguals was 10.68%, whereas in 2018, the last ACS survey for which we have data, it was 20.55%. That is 63 million inhabitants. The percentage has practically doubled in 38 years. The percentage has practically doubled in 38 years. If I was going to be proving this, I might use this data right here and make it according to, right? Okay, if we add a few more percentage points to take into account those not included in the survey, and the proportion of bilinguals today is probably close to 23% of the total population. Might use that number too. Of course, this percentage is still low compared to traditionally multilingual countries. For example, in Switzerland, some 42% of the population use 2 or more languages in everyday life. But similar to that of other countries, the world language with a world language as a native language, like France, it's 20%. One will want to study the reasons for this constant rise since the 1980s. There's, of course, the arrival of new immigrants who learn English and hence become bilingual. That might be something interesting. Some maintain their languages from generation to generation. Other reasons may be relearning of older immigration languages, as well as of Native American language and American Sign Language. To these should be added the effort that is being made to allow children and adolescents to acquire and use a second language in the home, as well as more natural language learning opportunities in some schools with immersion and dual language programs. Some might say that the increasing number of bilinguals goes hand in hand with increasing inhabitants who know English. I have plotted the results of those who report that they do not know any English in the same graph, the orange function. And as can be seen, the percentages remain very low throughout all these years. English is so important in the United States that as close to 98% of the population know it and use it in everyday life, according to 2016 ACS results. Back in 1986, I wrote an op-ed in the Miami News. Op-ed means editorial and opinion editorial, in the Miami News on the state of languages other than English in the United States. I had observed, as had others, the extremely fast shift between two monolingualisms, that of newly arrived immigrants in a non-English language, and that of a great majority of the population in English. I stated, a national resource, the country's knowledge of the languages of the world, is being wasted and not being replaced. I am now happy to observe that more than 30 years later, that an effort is being made to speak and use other languages in addition to English. I might use that in my chart. The position of prominence that English has in the U.S. is in no danger, but some room is now being made for other languages. This can only lead to a person's personal enrichment, increased ties between generations and cultures, and more diversity in job opportunities. All right, so here we go. You guys have an opportunity right now. You are going to take this article and you are going to find 3 pieces of evidence, put it into that chart, finish the chart with the appropriate according to language. You're going to explain how it proves the point that bilingualism has increased in the United States in the past 40 years, and for each quotation you take, and you are going to write the paragraph using the topic sentence I left for you right on here. Okay. Oh, I do have to change one thing on here. All right. So now you are to get to work, and I am going to fix this. Have a good day. I am excited to see you work. Thanks.